really, for me as a European, or especially as a German, using words like amazing or I'm excited is very rarely. So I'm kind of really say I'm excited to be here. It's a great summit, great location. So thanks, Chris and team, for organizing this and making this happening for all of us. Really great to be here. Thank you. When I stopped talking at one time and got silent for too long, it might be that I'm distracted by this stunning view here. So just wave your hand so that I'm getting back to reality. You can also wave your hand if you have any questions in between. Yeah. So let's make this more interactive. I have been spending so much time with this topic over the last 2 years that it could be that I'm talking about stuff where I didn't give you all the details. So please let me know if there's something missing, so I will tell you. I want to talk today about our journey, and really our journey from a transactional renewal business to a account management business or customer lifecycle, revenue lifecycle, whatever we call it, it's, I think, all the same. Really talking to the customer at the last 90 days of the renewal to really engaging with the customer over the whole life cycle. And we went through a number of hurdles there. After listening to J.B. Woods, I think I should have had his book before. That would be really helpful. But yeah, maybe I can review it afterwards and let him know if everything would have helped me there. So I want to talk about, first of all, of our business, Google Maps, what we're doing there. Then the partnership with ServiceSource, how it started. The transition, really, when we started to think about the transition from renewals to a account management model. The strategy about that, really, so the key areas of customer success, and then a project that is very relevant for us to really be successful in this area. And finally, the direction we're heading, next steps, learning, things like that. So starting with our product, you probably all know Google Maps. Or maybe let me ask you, who's using Google Maps once a month? And who's using it every week? Who's using it every day? Ooh, not bad, huh? So personally, I'm using it mainly when I'm on business trips or when I'm in areas where I don't know what to do there, want to find a location, a new restaurant. And it's probably the same you're doing. You're using it to navigate through the world, explore new areas, and really find out more about a place. And you probably not only used Google Maps on maps.google.com and the mobile application, but also on other websites. Like, for example, if you go to BMW, which is a car manufacturer from my hometown in Munich, if you go there and decide to buy a new BMW M3, nice car, but you want to see that in reality, you probably want to go to a shop. So where's the next shop? You don't need to leave the BMW site for that and go to maps.google.com. You can even go to this site on BMW, look for the next dealer locator, and they show you, based on the address you give in, where's the next location. And this is called the Maps APIs. And maybe a little going back to one of the milestones in the history of the Google Maps API. It was now almost 12 years ago, 2015, when we launched maps.google.com, just in the US. And at that time, a guy called Paul Rademacher, he is an engineer, and he was at this time based in San Francisco. He was looking for a new apartment. And what he did, he went to Craigslist, looked at the offerings, what kind of apartments are there, and whenever there was some apartment that he found interesting, he copied the address information and pasted it on maps.google.com to then find out where it is. So in many cases, it was simply not the place where he wanted to live, and he did that over a couple of days and got quite bored by this process, copy and paste all the time. So he's an engineer. What he did, he just hacked both sites, merged them together, and built a new site he called housingmaps.com. And you still find this site on the website if you look for housingmaps.com. please don't do it now. We heard yesterday about the distraction. I will feel really like we're not part of the community anymore if you do that now. But this side looks a little bit old school now, but it does essentially what it has to do. It shows you, it merges both sides and shows you all the locations, all the departments that are available exactly at the point where they are located. So exactly what Paul wanted to have, and we found out quite quickly because it was just around the corner in our neighborhood, and we didn't sue him for that, for really breaking our terms. We offered him a job. And he was working for us for a long time and really building a lot of geo applications. And one of them was the Google Maps API, which was released just a couple of months later, and which allows you exactly what housing maps showed, to use our map, put it on your website or into a software or whatever, to use our capabilities to really enrich your data with that. And the model, how it works, is we are getting paid based on the usage. Yeah? So whenever there's a transaction, when someone is using the map on this side, if someone is using a geocoding, which is one of the little helpers in the background, we get paid for that. And we have 14 APIs, so APIs that help you to find out what is the height information for a specific location. Street View is an API, and so on. So 14 of them today, and they're growing and growing. And today, as I said, it's not just something that you can find on the internet. You can find it in asset tracking applications. You can find it, if you use Uber today, you do it based on our technology. If you use Uber Pool, he's calculating the information who to get together, collect in a car based on the prediction how long it takes to get where and where you want to go. Or things like where you have a thermostat as home, so you, and this thermostat has the information if you're based on your smartphone, if you're coming home or leaving, and it regulates the thermostat and the temperature at your home. Probably here more the cooling system. So we offer this as a service. This is what we license, and this is our business. So talking about our partnership. And it's a very romantic scene, huh? So almost competing with the background here. And don't get me wrong, for all the other customers, this is not how we're doing our QBRs here in the sunshine in the morning. It just illustrates the partnership, how we started there, and we really were at the point, it was 4 years ago around, where we just, had to outsource some of our business, and our decision was to outsource our renewal business, a huge portion of that, mainly the run rate business at the beginning. And we found ServiceSource, and we had the feeling and the confidence to hand over a huge amount of our business to them, and it's really a huge amount. We have, I would say, 90% customer base of our revenues coming from this run rate business. Yeah, so the revenue. 90% of our customers are in this run rate business, and 50% of our revenue is coming from. So huge amount that we handed over to ServiceSource, and we started our business probably like everyone on your side started the business. So we had a bunch of salespeople who went out, sold licenses, and then they did kind of combination of account management, new business renewals, and over time they get more and more reactive. So they had more and more customers, they called them, and they had support things to do and so on. So at one point we then said, okay, let's move out the renewal business to a bunch of people inside Google and hire more people on the new business side. But we also saw this is not really working well, and at one stage there was the decision made, you have to outsource some resources, and Renewal was really the one where we saw there are other vendors that have more value, can offer more value in this, and ServiceSource was this. So maybe to add there, also important was our business was from the deal sizes, varying very strongly. So we had deals starting at 10K, and we have other deals with a business volume of 2 million or multi-million, especially in the automotive sector. So while it makes sense to hand over the business to ServiceSource on run rate business, for us it makes sense to really take care about top accounts, strategic accounts, accounts where AdWords, our main business on the Google side, was involved, to keep that but hand over the rest to ServiceSource. And what we really sorry, don't get the English word right now, the requirements, thank you. The requirements I was looking, we really had for ServiceSource at this stage, you can see here, very simple. We wanted them to take over the run rate business, so the transactional business. We wanted them to secure those renewals, really take care that those are secured. That was all we wanted them to take care of. And we wanted them to be the point of contact, take this away from our salespeople. And that worked perfectly. So, when I started to be part of this global renewal team, I had the feeling at the beginning, what can I improve? Because at the beginning, looking at the business, most of them was running really well. So it was under control. There were some areas of development, but at the end, it was really, everything was secure. It was a little bit like, I think Simon explained this yesterday as the, what did he say, circle of safety? Like the circle of safety. Doesn't mean that I was sleeping all the day, so because ServiceSource was protecting me from all the competitors that are out there. But I had really the possibility to focus on new areas and the next level to go together with my team in ServiceSource. And the next level for us was really moving away from this transactional renewal approach to a more proactive, sales-driven account management approach. And really from securing the renewals to driving this engagement. And driving crows, and that was our intention, driving crows. So what do you need to drive crows with your customers? And for us, there were two things that we needed to do. One, you simply don't want to lose your customers, you keep them. So you have to take care about that. The other thing is you want to grow your customer. And for us, this meant grow the usage. The more usage we generate, the more revenue we make. How can you do that? So probably not by just talking to this customer 90 days prior to renewal. So the issues we had at that time was, in those 90 days, everything came together, like escalations. Oh, we haven't heard about that before, so let me try to solve this. Potential deals as well. Oh, wow, we find out you could spend 3 times more. You don't have the budget. Just 90 days to go, you don't get it in that time? Shoot. Things like, simple things like implementation, wrong implementations, unhappiness of the customer, all of that we found out at this time and had to solve. But on the ServiceSource side, everything the reps wanted to do was just closing that deal. That's what they were paid for. And the discussions were mainly about pricing and to solve a problem, discount, and then to close the deal. So we closed literally, we solved our problems with discounts, you could say, at this stage. So control the customer cycle means really engaging with our customers over this full year with at the right time, with the right content, through the right channel, not at the last days. And what does this mean? So when are we successful? And for us, it was clear from the beginning that we can only be successful if we help the customer to be successful. That should be our mission, driving the success on the customer side means that our customers grow, and with that, we grow. Perfect. So the next thing we did was really forming a vision, a mission, a direction we all wanted to go. Because we found out that it's a huge shift of the mindset in the company. On the ServiceSource side, on our side, on the management side, even things like, things like marketing. Yeah? So marketing, I don't know how it is in your companies, but in my company, marketing is, the success of marketing is based on pipeline, generating pipeline. Where's the link to renewals? Yeah? So there's no link. Yeah? So marketing, if you talk to them, tell them, hey, I need a playbook. Say, yeah, how can I generate pipeline with that? So really, it meant we found out we need a mission statement that helps us to really drive this change, mark a moment of change, and also drive that change in our company. And here you can see it, and it's very simple. We say, keep and grow our existing customers by empowering to be successful with our products. And additionally, we added here this kind of a logo, which was our customer success wheel or growth wheel. And what you can see here are the three key areas for us to really drive this customer success. And I want to quickly explain them to you. So the first one is about keep, and we spoke about this. Yeah? You don't want to lose your customers. And to do this, two things are important. One is you need to have an effective implementation. Really take care that on the technical side, everything is okay. For us, this was especially important because our product is code-based. So there needs to be a right coding. Otherwise, we also have an issue. We don't understand the customer because what we read in our coding is wrong. So there needs to be an effective implementation. But the more important thing is even they need to understand the value of using our solution. And that was interesting to find out when we started this. The implementation part, the technical part, was kind of easy to solve. Yeah? Everything was in place, so measuring this and so on and so forth. But demonstrating the business value to the customers, we didn't have anything. Yeah? So coming back to what JB talked about, having KPIs to measure this, to go back to your customer and tell them, hey, using this on the BMW side, and this helps you get more customers into your shop buying nice BMW M3s. Yeah? So thanks to us. Yeah? Great. We couldn't do that. And it's still challenging in many areas for us. But at least we now know there is the area we need to work on. And that's something we never went into because there was never a need. Because we were just talking about money and discounts and time to close a deal and functionality. That's all. So the next thing is about build. And this is really for our product, as it is usage-driven, it was really, and API-driven, so we're not selling a product, we're selling a set of APIs, a toolkit. And everyone is building his own solution out of it. So for us, it was really essential to drive the growth by adding more APIs to the use cases. So two options there. You have the same APIs, or the standard current setup, and want to drive this by maybe adding more sites to it, making it global, which is so far just local. And then the most important thing and the main driver for us is really adding more APIs to the same use case. And again, we found out, oops, what are those APIs? We don't know that. So we can't tell that today, but we want to get there. And then the third thing is about expand. And you all know that it's about really cross-selling. But again, cross-selling is something really sophisticated. Yeah? So it's not so easy to do this cross-sell. It's very consultative so far. So far, what we do is we have really salespeople, senior salespeople that go into to a customer and talk with him about his problems to then come back with recommendations together with the partner what to do. Yeah? It's not that we go to a customer and can tell him, hey, this can help you. No. But we want to get there. So we found out about this wheel, defined all of that, had a strategy, and then it started to become more tricky. Yeah? So really, how do you now get that to life? How do you implement that? What do you need to do? And the tricky thing is, it's really like a paradoxon that you want to solve here. Yeah? We want to do account management with people that are not account managers, that are coming from university, having maybe a couple of years of experience, and they're dealing not with 1, 2, 3 deals or accounts, they're dealing with 100, 200 accounts. So you want to make that scalable. How can you do that? So it doesn't sound right. It's not following the principles of account management. So we saw there's really a contradiction in that. And the question is, how can you do that? And the answer is here. So you need automated processes, people and processes, heavy usage of data, and you need to make it measurable, your success. And we try to structure it exactly this way. So we try to get an understanding of how can we group our customers, find patterns, find champions within those customers? What are ways to correlate the data? What technology do we need to really make that available to everyone, every stakeholder in the process? And like the renewals team, our internal account managers, marketing, channel, all of them. And then finally, how can we, people, processes, engagement moments. How can we really define those engagements? So there are event-driven engagements, like customer has more usage. So we see, wow, there's a potential, he's successful, let's find out how we can get him more successful. There could also be a time-based where just at the beginning, we need to take care that there is an implementation. So we needed to structure this and then give people the material in the hand to work as an account manager, get material to be supported, to be able to act like an account manager, and then to measure this. And what we did is we didn't know how to solve it, and what you do at Google when you don't know how to solve it, you just start with a bunch of projects. So we rolled out really pilots, projects, and Ashton in my team, she probably knows the amount wouldn't fit on that. We probably would fit the whole alphabet of project names into that, and we wrote them out to better understand that. And here are just a few. So just a quick question. Which of those projects do you think is defined by an engineer? Thermal? Doing it right, fix it, sell it. So everyone else came up with shiny names, poly, thermal, so on. We had really abstracts about what that name means. And the deployment team just said, it's fix it. It's about fixing the implementation. Straightforward. So we introduced a number of projects, and I want to talk about one, which is from the data and technology area, which is this project Thermal here, which has really played a very significant role for us because it really helped us to link all the data that we were not able to link so far. So the idea, and it's illustrated here, is to really turn knowledge into proactive recommendations. So that means get customers with below average Maps API usage, increase them to, and that's, map credit is the consumption model we have. Increase their map credit consumption by adopting additional APIs and exploring new use cases. So following exactly what we call build and expand before. So that's the idea. That's the growth strategy, so to say. Yeah.
decide how to do smart things from that data?
Who was really managing this data responsibility, or?
And making the decisions how to use it.
Yeah, so a good point. That were really different, very different teams. So we had the deployment team, sales engineering team, our account management team was driving most of them. Yeah? And then we had central sales ops supporting us on really some of those projects. But on some of them, we really just, in a scrappy way, try to generate data by ourselves by building documents, tricks, sheets, and very simple data sourcing to find out, can we use that data? And often we again went to central sales ops to show our results to them, then build something bigger that is really more automated. So the thing was, looking at the strategy and the growth strategy, we had to combine or learn from the data. What I said before, when you want to add APIs, you need to understand which APIs should be added. Yeah? And that was the missing part in our system. So we found out, looking in our CRM system, that we had everything, but we didn't know about the use case. So, and think about, as I said before, you can build whatever you want out of our solutions, out of our APIs. Sorry, you can build whatever you want as a solution out of our APIs. So, and we didn't know what kind of use cases there were. We knew how many APIs they're using and so on, but there was no link to that use case. So we found out this is the missing link, and we need to fix that. And what we did then is we really tried to cover most of our customers by just getting the support from ServiceSource, adding that through the renewal cycle, yeah? Really doing this research to add the use case. So right now we are at between 50 and 60% of our customer base, yeah? And it gives us already very good data. And what you can see here is one of those outcomes, very simplified. But what it shows you here is we know now for each vertical what are the use cases. We know the use case number 1, the use case number 2, 3, 4, and so on. So in the past, if you would ask someone, what is the use case number 1, you probably knew because he has sold that so many times. What is the use case number 2? Everyone failed we asked so far. So some were right, some were wrong. 5 people in a room, 2 out of 3, something like this, yeah? But you don't get really good data out of that. Then, what APIs are used in this use case? Only the data could tell us. And now, as we know, here for retail, for example, the industry standard, that means the average use cases that are used in retail are 3. The industry standard for the number of APIs is 4, but we also know there are some champions, some customers that are using almost double the amount of those APIs and use cases. And we know, based on the data, what are the required ones and what are the recommended ones and what are the less recommended ones and so on. And that is a huge shift, because now suddenly we can use that data and really describe solutions for each vertical and each use case. So a huge step for us, because it completely allows us to turn around the way we approach our customers. We now suddenly can offer solutions. Yeah? So we don't need an account manager who spent probably most of the time at the account to then work for us, to work with the account, to know them in and out, to really consult them on what kind of solutions they should build. We can now go to them and tell them, hey, you know, others in your area that are successful using this, this, and this, and this. And when you use this, then the business value for you is this. Yeah? So now we can do solution selling. Huge step. So what did we do at first tests for that? How can we really drive engagement? And again, very simple. So we started just approaching customers where we found out they are below the industry standard or they are below the champion, to approach them, to talk to them about what they're doing right now and offer them those additional APIs, but also additional use cases. And this is one example from retail where the customer is using 4 APIs, so he's fulfilling the industry standard, but there's still the possibility to offer him 3 additional APIs. And that's exactly what ServiceSource is doing now, offering this and then following up and working over the life cycle to really drive this. And this is not happening 90 days prior to renewal. Those are customers that just renewed. Yeah? We're talking to the customers now that renewed in Q1, Q2, and Q3 about really engaging and driving the adoption. So, what are the learnings? So, the big learning for us was that we thought it's way easier. To summarize it, we thought it's really way easier. It just said, okay, we want to do account management. Yeah, let's do it. Let's start tomorrow. And yeah, it's really a huge change. And we realized that through the journey and still realizing what that means. Yeah? Just coming out of conversation, JB mentioned that suddenly the question is, do you hand over the business, the responsibility of the business to completely different people? In the past, there were new business, 90% of the business, myself. Now, suddenly there's renewals, this low-class second sales option thing that is taking over responsibility on that. And they have models in place that show you that they can be successful in that. So a huge thing, yeah? And what we really didn't think about so much and really we drive that a little bit, but we thought that this is one of the main hurdles, is change management. And it comes through everything. So the mindset of the people, how you approach data, what you do with the data, how you measure success, the technology you need for that, the availability of technology to all the people, because otherwise it's not running. The processes you have to implement, the engagement, even things like licensing. So give you an example where we are right now. We're probably way ahead from many of you by just we started with a 1-year license agreement. That was our starting point. You came probably from perpetual license, 3, 4, 6-year agreements, something like this. We started at 1 year, and for us it's still a long journey. So what we can see as a consequence now is that when we do this, drive this engagement, suddenly we won't see next year this 12 months renewal cycle. We will see when we are successful, we will see that we have a 6 months, 5 months, a 9 months, but hopefully not a 12. A 12 is a bad indication for us. But what does this mean on order management side? Oh my gosh. So they can't handle that. For them, everything that is below, away from 12 months is bad. So really change management, you have to drive there. A lot of complexity. The thing we learned over time is also, it is way more than renewal at the end, because you start with understanding renewals, but while understanding your renewals, you hand back huge value to your organization, because suddenly you are the voice of the customer. You're the voice of the customer, and you can play back to product management relevant data. For example, let's say in retail we have an API is autocomplete, which means that customers are, when you go to the website and instead of typing everything in, your address, it autocompletes it. It's now usually on many websites. That's a feature. So let's say 40% are using it right now, and we could add it to the other 60%. Let's find the functionality we need additionally to add this to the other 60%. huge value. We can even size this value, yeah, based on the data we have. Yeah? A new business can't do that. Yeah? So think about how much money we spend into marketing, where we drive an event, and at the end we say, yeah, we have some pipeline. Yeah? Here we can exactly tell you what is happening if you make the right decision. Amazing. And it is also, at the end, very important for new business, because we are not only selling now solutions or going in the process of selling solutions on the renewal side, we are also now able to address the market with those solutions, yeah, on the prospect, on the new business side. And a massive value that we never had before. So a lot of complexity. You probably, I don't know, I would probably not go with the same enthusiasm to it when I knew about all those hurdles and changes. So maybe sometimes good to know, not all about it, and learn on the process. But I must say, the learnings we get out of that are already so massive that I can see it's a long way still to go. So that I'm really looking forward to see all the other outcomes that I will get over this process. So thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you have questions, I have 7 minutes. Perfect. Thank you. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned a couple of times the role of the partners, channel partners. Could you elaborate a little bit on how much you actually have partners in the process, and how do you see their role of capturing, you know, a bigger responsibility of actually that whole life cycle management?
You're mentioning another level of complexity here. So I didn't go specifically into this topic because, it is not easy. So we have overall, I would say, a 50-50 split. Yeah? Direct deals, historically direct deals mainly, where we move more and more into partner business. And the issue with the partners is that it is way more difficult to drive this engagement, because at the end, what you can standardize via someone like ServiceSource, you have to now train each partner on that, get him aligned, make him give him access to the data, and so on and so forth. Really, really tough to do this. Yeah? And what we did there, we introduced a program. We called this the Renewal Assist program. And what we do there is we offer partners to hand over their run rate business to ServiceSource. Yeah? So the same what we did some time ago, we offer now to those partners. And with the goal to offer them then also an SLA, like saying them, hey, we can guarantee you that we are able to deliver this renewal rate and this growth rate and so on. So this is where we slowly moving into, because what you can see there are concerns. And truly there are concerns, because they have to hand over the business. It's out of their control. But I think that is a project that works from our view, but I can't tell you right now at the stage where we are if it is really successful.
Patrick, here in the back, just so you can look at the ocean.
Oh, sorry, distracted.
Gabriel Zulik from Red Hat. So I wonder, what are the KPIs that you follow more closely? And the question is, we at Red Hat follow obviously renewal rates, but specifically we are very focused on retention rates, so customer churn, reducing customer churn or attrition. And we would be the first ones to admit that I don't think we do a good job of understanding why we lose customers, why we fail to renew or retain a customer. So what are your KPIs, and what specifically on customer churn? What do you do? Why do you lose customers in the first place? And what do you do to better understand why you guys lose customers when you do not renew them?
Yeah, good point. So and we went exactly through the same challenges. So that it was unclear for us. We had a long list of lost reasons, but it was impossible to read really what is behind that. When we restructured them, and what came out was that a huge portion is because they did not understand the value. Yeah? There are others where simply the project ends. Yeah? So even there, I would think that some of them are in that because the value is not understood, but the majority are because exactly of that. It's not that we're losing so many against competitors, it's mainly that they do not understand why they should invest the money. Okay, thank you very much.